Van Halen fans have seen their fair share of drama over the years. But what happened between David Lee Roth, Alex Van Halen, and Wolfgang Van Halen was on another level. It wasn't just a disagreement, it was a public battle that played out through interviews, YouTube videos, and behind-the-scenes struggles. It all started when Wolfgang Van Halen noticed something strange. A different kind of truth, the last Van Halen album and the only one he played on, disappeared from streaming platforms. No Spotify, no Apple Music, no Amazon Music. For fans who didn't own a physical copy, it was like the album never existed. At first, the reason wasn't clear, but as time went on, Wolfgang started speaking out. He revealed that the album's contract for streaming expired, and while he and his team were trying to bring it back, there were obstacles. Then, in an interview with Trunk Nation, he dropped a bombshell. Someone within the Van Halen camp didn't want the album to return. And according to Wolfgang, that person was David Lee Roth. Roth didn't stay quiet for long. He responded in the way only he could, with a YouTube video full of sarcasm, insults, and even a fake apology. In the video titled Family Therapy, he mocked Wolfgang's frustration, pretending to be a therapist telling him that the album was dead on arrival and a complete faceplant. Roth made it clear that he didn't think the album was worth fighting for, and he wasn't alone. That's when Alex Van Halen entered the conversation. He stood with Roth, saying that even if the album had some success when it was released, it wasn't worth the legal hassle. His response was brutal. He compared a different kind of truth to the final fights of Muhammad Ali, the ones people don't like to remember. While Roth and Alex dismissed the album, Wolfgang saw things differently. He knew the record sold over 400,000 copies and believed it still had value. But with two key members of Van Halen blocking the process, there was little he could do. In frustration, he told fans that if they liked the album, they'd better own a physical copy because it wasn't coming back anytime soon. But the drama didn't stop there. Roth released another video named This Crazy Kid, taking more shots at Wolfgang. This time, he claimed that during Van Halen's final tour, Wolfgang had kicked out two of his invited guests at a New York show. The tension between them had clearly been building for years, and now it was boiling over. Roth's attacks didn't go unnoticed. Even Sammy Hagar, another former Van Halen frontman, weighed in on the feud. He hinted that Roth was acting out of jealousy, saying, "He needs to find a new dispensary. That one's not working for him." Wolfgang didn't respond to Roth's insults for months. Fans were used to seeing him speak his mind online, but this time he stayed silent. Some believed it was because Alex Van Halen sided with Roth and Wolfgang didn't want to escalate things further. Others thought he just didn't care. Then out of nowhere, Roth seemed to extend an olive branch, or at least that's what some people thought. He released another video showing old photos of himself with Van Halen, including one with Wolfgang. Was this a quiet way of making peace, or just another calculated move? When Wolfgang finally broke his silence, he didn't hold back. In an interview, he admitted that he and Roth weren't exactly on good terms. He also made it clear that he wasn't surprised by any of it, saying, "I guess I'm honored he even thinks about me as much as he seems to." He joked about Roth's history of exaggerating, reminding fans that this was the same guy who once claimed to have written Eruption and designed Eddie Van Halen's iconic guitar. By this point, it was obvious. This was about more than just an album. It was about control, legacy, and old wounds that never fully healed. Wolfgang spent years trying to carve out his own path while honoring his father's legacy. Roth spent just as long reminding the world that he was one of rock's biggest frontmen. And Alex? He seemed to be stuck in the middle, choosing his battles carefully. So was Roth really worried about legal fees? Or was this about something deeper? Power, ego, and who gets the final say in Van Halen's history? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more rock and metal stories.